I, Commander Ziath of the Vishari Armada, was once a figure of lethal precision, my species flying across the galaxy with unstoppable might. We conquered system after system, subjugating worlds who dared oppose us. But Earth broke us. Our flagship, an obsidian fortress of living metal, plunged from trans-space above the Pacific at dawn, brighter than 10 suns. I watched through my viewport as the blue planet swallowed us whole. Protocol dictated swift deployment. Our ground legions were unleashed along the coasts, terrifying suits bred for domination. We struck like lightning. We believed ourselves the perfect plague, but Earth had something we underestimated: unpredictability. We thought, wrongly, that their weapons were primitive, fire and steel versus our sonic disruptors and bioweapon canisters. We expected their armies to collapse. Instead, they rose. I watched my shock squad fall first, shield generators pinned in under minutes by mud, brown-skinned warriors in unlined fatigues. What followed was chaos: towering mechs, whale-sized gunships, jets roaring like celestial beasts. Our troops scattered. Panic rippled through our ranks. I still remember their eyes, wild, determined, something primordial. Fear wasn't part of this equation. Fury was. We lost control of sector after sector. Our command network flickered. Our biology-adapted weapons overpowered civilians, until Earth retaliated with nuclear fire. Our ships above were ravaged, burning in the sky. The flagship, my home, fell silent as the planet itself responded to invasion with incandescent wrath. My mind flicked data through neural implants. Protocol demanded evacuation, but there was no evacuation. We were fractured, leaderless, my crew slain. The invasion stalled mid-breath. I survived. Why? I don't know. A freak malfunction spared me, or perhaps the planet itself allowed me to live. In those final hours, I retreated into Earth's jungles, systems damaged, strength failing. I spent nights in the dark, a phantom in a dead war. I remember their screams. I remember the bright white flashes near ocean shores. I remember when I realized I was the last. So here I am, alone, wounded, mind broken into pieces by defeat and guilt. I, Commander Ziath, am Earth's first and only Vishari survivor. They invaded once, just once, and the world refused to fall. My story is not one of conquest. It is a confession. The galaxy will hear it, or die with me. You have to understand, we didn't come for conquest. Not really. Vishari doctrine said Earth was resource-rich, lightly defended, backward, a green marble at the edge of the galactic map. We didn't expect resistance, only surrender. This wasn't supposed to be a war. It was supposed to be a harvest. But Earth was alive in a way our simulations couldn't comprehend. The first anomaly we encountered wasn't military. It was attitude. Our linguists monitored intercepted transmissions, radio, data, local networks, and their conclusions were baffling. "They're laughing," one of the analysts said. Not panicking, laughing. Humans joked about the invasion. They made memes, painted graffiti on fallen skirmish pods. "Nice try, ET," one wall read. Another had a crude drawing of a Vishari warrior wearing a tutu. We didn't understand what we were facing, and that ignorance was fatal. By the third planetary rotation, their resistance had gone viral, not as organized armies, but as individuals. A single man with a hunting rifle took down a tripod walker in Kansas. In Brazil, a group of street racers used nitro-charged cars to destroy a mobile command rig. In Japan, they weaponized drones by duct-taping explosives to them. Humans didn't fight like we trained for. They fought dirty. They fought smart. And above all, they refused to quit. We called it psychological malfunction. Earth called it stubbornness. I remember watching a satellite feed from somewhere they called Ukraine. A human squad, outnumbered, outgunned, refused to retreat. They sang songs while holding a broken line against our fire. When they were finally overrun, one of them detonated a backpack filled with homemade explosives. We called it the 3-day collapse. Not because Earth beat us in 3 days. No, the full invasion campaign dragged out for almost 2 Earth months. But because within 3 rotations, everything that made us Vishari broke. Our chain of command? Shattered. Earth targeted communications first, not with tech, but brute chaos. They hijacked our networks, blasting loud metal music through comm channels. Human sabotage teams infected our AI with paradoxical riddles, forcing shutdowns. They even renamed our fleet IDs with things like Butt Cruiser 9000. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? It was. But that was the point. We were precision. They were pandemonium. One of my squad mates, a disciplined tactician named Vikthun, started screaming after a group of human resistance fighters lured us into a warehouse trap by baiting us with food and signs that said, "Free hugs for aliens." He screamed because the trap worked. That was the thing. Nothing about humans should have worked. Their gear was outdated, their coordination sloppy, but they made up for it with something terrifying. Adaptation. They learned faster than we could recalculate. We'd deploy new shielding tech. Within hours, they'd be slinging molten iron through it using repurposed train engines. We introduced anti-gravity tanks. They flipped them using cranes and piano wire. We released nerve agents. They started wearing scuba gear and duct-taped garbage bags. A race so reckless, they made weapons out of things that shouldn't be weapons. And if they didn't have something, they built it. In garages, in basements, using passion, spite, and pure fury. I watched as a single grandmother shot down a Vishari scout ship using a homemade railgun powered by a hydroelectric wheel she'd built out of trash. Her last words before she vanished from sensors. "Tell your gods Earth sends its regards. We didn't know how to fight this." Because you can't win a war against a species that doesn't care if they die if it means they take you with them, finds joy in chaos, and considers apocalypse just a bad Tuesday. They didn't just resist. They humiliated us. By the end of the second week, Vishari Command stopped transmitting. Our High General self-terminated. The last message from the capital: do not return. The Armada was gone, our fleet in flames. And me? I crawled through the ruins of a crashed transport, bleeding ultraviolet, my mandibles shattered. I remember lying beneath the stars, hearing the soft hum of Earth's wind. That's when I saw a child. A human girl, alone, barefoot, maybe 9 rotations old. She approached slowly and handed me a peanut butter sandwich. No weapon, no fear, just pity. She didn't speak, but her eyes did. Not all humans hated us, but they would never forgive us, and that was the moment I knew. We invaded once, just once, and we would never be allowed to return. After our collapse, Earth didn't hunt me. They didn't need to. The planet did it for them. You can't imagine the silence that follows a lost war. It isn't peace. It's the weight of 1 billion dead hopes. I wandered the shell of a city they called Chicago, where glass towers had burned and metal had melted into bone. Signs of battle were everywhere. Makeshift barricades made from old buses, exosuits rigged with human wiring, entire skyscrapers fallen sideways like tired giants. But the strangest thing? The city lived. Humans were already rebuilding, not with pride, not with vengeance, but with determination, the kind that doesn't need speeches, the kind that grits its teeth and sets about carrying bricks before the ashes cool. I found an old gas station and lived in its basement. My species didn't need much sustenance, just a charged biocore and some low-frequency solar. I scavenged what I could: fractured data pads, broken human toys, scraps of paper with drawings on them. One note read, "Mom and Dad didn't come back. Still guarding the shelter. Love you, Sam." I think I kept that. I don't know why. My neural core eventually resynced enough to listen to Earth's radio. Their music stations had returned. The first song I heard, "Highway to Hell." Even in victory, they joked about death. But in the static between songs, I heard something else. Names. So many names. Human broadcasters reading the dead, town by town, neighborhood by neighborhood. They spoke the names with reverence and no fanfare. Not heroes. Just people. They honored every loss. That is something Vishari Command never taught us to do. We erased our fallen. Humans remembered theirs. I began to understand something horrifying, something sacred. Earth didn't win because of what it destroyed. Earth won because of what it refused to lose. Its memory, its humor, its humanity. One night, I wandered out, too broken to care, and stood in the open. No armor, no weapons. A drone spotted me. I waited for the detonation, the vengeance. But none came. Instead, a voice boomed from it. You lost. We know. We don't forgive. But we're not like you. Stay out of sight. Don't make trouble. Survive if you can. The planet is watching. That was all. Earth had no need to execute me. They had defeated me in every way already. I wasn't a threat. I was a lesson. The Vishari had come with conquest. Earth gave us a tombstone. And still, they let one of us walk among them. Why? Because humans aren't just brutal. They're merciful. And that was the scariest thing of all. In the cycles that followed, I stayed hidden. Not because I was hunted, but because I was ashamed. You must understand, on Vishari Prime, they teach us that humans are primitive, unworthy of the stars, emotionally volatile, dangerously irrational, obsessed with violence. They were wrong about everything. Yes, humans are emotional. But that emotion, it fuels their resilience, their irrationality. That's what lets them do the impossible. And violence? Oh yes, they are violent, but only when they must be. And when they do, it is absolute. What terrified me most wasn't their weapons. It was their unity under fire. When the sky was filled with fire and alien steel, they fought as one species, not as nations, not as factions, but as humans. We Vishari never did that. Our clans warred even during expansion campaigns. But Earth came together in days. I remember hearing about something they called the One Flag Pact. In it, every surviving government agreed to fight under a single banner. Black, white, red, blue, all faded behind that Earth flag. A globe, ringed in stars. Just one planet, one people. When one of our assault frigates crash-landed into their Antarctic base, every human survivor nearby, soldier or not, rushed in to rescue each other from the cold. Even as they bled, even as they died. No one ran, no one begged. They dragged their friends from under flaming wreckage and died smiling. I couldn't understand that. We were bred to value survival. But humans, they valued something greater. They had art in their bunkers. They painted flags on their ruined tanks. Some even named their weapons, not out of vanity, but affection. I found a ruined outpost with an old rifle leaning against the wall. Etched into the barrel were the words, "For Dad," still holding the line. Even now, as I sit under rusted steel and scorched skies, I try to make sense of it all. We came thinking humans were weak. We left realizing they were immortal, not in flesh, but in spirit. And I am their witness. I could leave, perhaps, build a signal, call for extraction, if there's anyone still listening. But what would I say? Don't come. Don't try again. You don't know what they are. Earth isn't just dangerous. Earth is sacred. And humanity is what happens when the universe dares a species to survive, and it wins. They don't need the stars. The stars need them. I don't know how many years have passed now. Earth measures time differently. Their sun still rises in that molten orange hue, casting long shadows over fields once burned by plasma fire. And in those shadows, life grows. Human life. Children laugh in the streets again, some running barefoot, some wearing scavenged helmets that once belonged to our shock troops. They don't know what those helmets are. To them, they're toys. Earth has moved on. I haven't. I live in the hills far from the cities, in the remnants of a weather satellite station. No one bothers me. Perhaps they don't know I'm here. Perhaps they do and simply don't care. Or perhaps this is mercy again. Sometimes I listen to the broadcasts, Humans still tell stories of the war, not to glorify it, but to remember. Their veterans gather in open fields and silent halls, heads bowed not in pride, but in solemnity. They don't celebrate victory, they mourn the cost of it. And me, I write, not for command, not for survival, but so someone, anyone, might learn what we failed to, because we will come again. Not us, Vishari. We're finished. But some other empire, some other species, some arrogant race, convinced that Earth is just another primitive rock waiting to be conquered. They will come with fleets, with weapons and banners. They will fire first, and Earth will answer, not with diplomacy, not with mercy, but with the full memory of the day the stars tried to burn their world. I imagine it sometimes, the look on some alien commander's face when they see the skies darken. Not with ships, but with steel, debris, and wrath. When their sensors scream about tactics that defy logic, when their fleets crumble under wild, beautiful madness, when they realize too late, this world cannot be tamed. It only tolerates peace, until it must remember its fire. So if you're reading this, whoever you are, wherever you come from, hear my words. Do not invade Earth. You will not survive the species. You will not survive the planet. And worst of all, you will not survive their memory. They invaded Earth once, just once. No one ever tried again.